Hello guys, gals, non-binary pals, and waterfowls. It's me, Big Mike, and today I'm coming at you with a new episode of Big Mike's Indie Game Showcase. It's been a long time since the last episode of this series, but like the ska punk fan I am, let's pick it up! One of the reasons why I'm so excited is that this is a game I've been wanting to talk about for quite a while. And this game, fam, is Pusheep. I have a bit of a history with this game. So I checked out the demo back in March. And as I tend to do, I posted about it on my Twitter because I love sharing indie games. However, after I posted about it, the publisher Akamel Studios, please forgive me if I mispronounced that, sent me the full game for free. And I really appreciate it. Just full disclosure, they did send me this game for free. However, they didn't give me this game to review. I'm not 100% sure why they gave it to me, but I think maybe it was because I posted about it so much before its development, as they were one of the studios that used to love to participate in my Wishlist Wednesday and Screenshot Saturday post on Twitter. But regardless, I do appreciate the gift. In fact, I wouldn't be making this video today if I didn't. But me and this game have a bit more history. You see, I was hoping to make this video a lot sooner, but unfortunately technical issues prevented me from doing so. As when I received this free game, it was in the middle of me dealing with my computer's grounding issues. Now fast forward to when I jumped back into making content. I originally filmed and planned on including a segment in my Ubuntu 22.04 review video that featured Pusheep. However, I kind of cut it due to the fact that I felt the video was already running way too long. And on the other hand, I think including a game that I hadn't talked about previously in a video like that was doing it a great disservice. And I felt like it deserved its own video, which brings us to where we are today, fam. Now first let's talk about the story. Now the story is pretty straightforward and quite simple. So there is a group of evil sheep, the black sheep, that have taken over the dream world. And you, the good sheep, have to clear the dream world by knocking all the bad sheep off the platform to make sure people will have good dreams. So this isn't an RPG, obviously, so it's not a very story-heavy game, and that's okay, not every game has to be. This is more of a, game to play. And speaking of which, let's talk about the gameplay. Pusheep is a move-based puzzle game made up of multiple stages. You have to clear each stage by knocking all of the bad sheep off the platform. But it's not that easy, actually. The catch is that your movements are limited. You can only move forwards and backwards, and to the sides, but only if there's a black sheep there. You can't hit walls directly, nor can you hit other obstacles like rocks that may be in the way. Also, you cannot hit sheep directly beside you. In order to complete the stage, you must clear it within a certain amount of moves. And that's where the real challenge comes in. In addition to hitting black sheep, sometimes you have to hit white sheep as well for strategic purposes. However, you have to be careful because if any of the white sheep fall off the platform, you lose and have to start over. And one final thing to touch on here is that as the game progresses, the levels will sometimes start to add different elements, like obstacles. There'll be different kinds of sheep, both black sheep and white sheep. And you'll have to take all these things into consideration when strategizing. Now this is probably going to sound a bit weird, but hey, if you followed me for a long time, you know, very few people are weirder than Big Mike. But honestly, my whole time playing this game, it always reminds me of Pokemon Gold, Silver, and Crystal. And that particular part of the game, it's in an ice cave and it's in an ice gym where you have to move the boulders a certain way and you have to slide a certain way to kind of get through the gym or get through the cave. That's kind of what this reminds me of a bit. And there's a good reason for this, actually. So there's a type or genre of puzzle games called Sokoban. Now, Sokoban is a puzzle video game genre in which a player pushes crates or boxes around in a warehouse trying to get them to storage locations. Or at least that's how the original game in the genre operated. And very similar games, such as Pusheep, for example, or those portions of the Pokemon game that I talked about previously, fall within the Sokoban genre. Now let's move on and talk about the controls. And some people, this is kind of a polarizing game I've seen in regards to such things. Either you really like it or you don't like it. Now this game is played only with a mouse. So you click the mouse to make your moves, you click the sheep, and then you click the other sheep you wanted to hit, and that's how the game is played. And some people didn't like that, actually. I personally, generally speaking, I don't really like playing games with a mouse. I prefer a gamepad. I'm not really a big keyboard gamer either, but that's another story. However, I feel like for a game like this, it works good. So I personally don't have any issues with this game's controls, but just kind of keep this into consideration, or kind of take that into consideration if you yourself aren't a fan of mouse-controlled games. Now, when talking about the graphics and the design, this is actually one of my favorite things about this game. Now, of course, it's not a realistic design. You're not going to see realistic-looking sheep here, and that's okay. In fact, I would say one of the things I really love about this design is the blockiness of the sheep. It gives them a certain quirkiness, but it really works in its favor, I think. The world is actually quite squared as well, or it has like this box-like design, and the designs are going to vary depending on which world you're in. In fact, there's this one world, I believe it's the first world. It has, you'll find it's in like a green place, sometimes pipes that come out of the side. I kind of get like a Mario-esque vibe from it. There are some places that have a more tropical design to it, and even some places with castles and such. So the design is quite varied, and I for one, I really love it actually. The aesthetic of this game really works well for it. The last thing I want to talk about is the music. And fam, this is something I really love. I love this music. It's not too powerful. It's good, but it's not too powerful. It's not overbearing. It's there in the background. It's calm. It's upbeat. And I find it to be a bit mesmerizing at times. But you know what? Don't take my word for it. I've showed you gameplay footage in the background, so you know how the game looks and plays. But I've been talking this whole time. So here, take a moment, listen to some clean music from this game without me talking over it. And this is actually my favorite song from the game. So lastly, I just want to give my final thoughts on this game. There are a lot of other things I really liked about this game that I didn't mention earlier because I didn't feel like they belonged to any of the other categories. And one such thing is the way the game is laid out. So now there are levels for this game, but every level is a part of a larger world. And every world contains several levels. Now what's really cool here is that these worlds are not based around linear progression from level to level. You can actually choose a different path, go through a different level. Sometimes you can even bypass a level altogether. And speaking of which, maybe you're a bit like me. Some of these puzzles you can probably easily handle, and some of them may stump you a bit. And that's okay, fam. Some of these puzzles really gave me a good beating myself. So no shame here. No shame here, fam. No judgment either. But what's really cool about this game is that it will allow you to skip levels. Does you find one stage too difficult to handle? That's okay. Skip it, go on to the next one. And the last thing I really love about this game, and you're probably either going to really love it or you're going to really hate it, and this is the puns. This game is filled to the brim with sheep puns. I cannot emphasize this point enough, fam. I myself, I love wordplay, I love puns, so it was a hit with me. Now, your mileage may vary depending on your view of such things. Another thing I really liked about this game are the platforms that it's available for. Now, if you know me, fam, you know I'm a huge fan of Linux. I use a Linux distribution known as Ubuntu as my daily driver or my main operating system. And Linux doesn't always get a lot of love from game developers. but that's changing. And this is one game that did show us some love. So if you use Linux, please give this game some love. Now, in addition to being available for Linux, it's also available for Windows and Mac OS as well. All in all, I would add this game to my list of comfort games. And that list only includes 2 or 3 other games. Those being Exo in the Starlight, Sonic 3 and Knuckles, and Super Mario Land 2. So this game is definitely in good company there. Now, I will say one of the things I do enjoy the most about it is that it can be picked up and played quite easily. It's easy to get into, and it can be a bit hard to put down once you get into it. But what I really like the most is that it has this cozy feel to it. And I think both the graphics and the sound play heavily into that. And so I would highly recommend you giving this game a shot. Now, the really cool thing here is that there's a free demo available for this game. So maybe if you're on the fence about this game and you want to see if it's right for you, go give it a shot. I'd highly recommend it. And I'll put the links in the description below to this game's Steam store page. So please do yourself a favor and try this game. And those are my thoughts on Pusheep. This has been a fun video to make. It's something I've been wanting to do for a long time. And I'm hoping this is a series I can do more often now. Hopefully it won't be another 6 months before the next episode. Once again, I want to thank Akamel Studios for sending me a free copy of this game. And that's going to do it. We're going to end it here. Alright guys, gals, non-binary pals, and waterfowls, that's going to do it for this video. I want to give a special thanks to Fran, who does a wonderful job doing my art. A special thanks to all of my friends on Twitter. I wouldn't be here without you all. And most importantly, a special thank you to all of you for watching. Please like this video if you liked it. Dislike it if you dislike it. Feel free to comment below and let me know what you think. And if you like my content, please subscribe and turn your notifications on. Until next time, fam, remember, just be yourself and you'll be awesome. Peace out!